Michael, how'd you process that? That was a throwback to the old days, wasn't it?
There was a lot went on today in the game. Yeah, I think going into the game I was well aware of what a good team Fulham are, and I was getting things thrown at me and questions about teams coming and sitting back and here and having to break teams down, and it was never going to be a game like that today. They were a good team, and the way they play, and I thought we were going to have to answer a lot of questions, and I thought we did that for a lot of it. Boys put in a big effort and really desperate to win the game today, to go up, to come back, similar to last week, and be pegged back, to then go again. It was so delighted for Ben. He's to come on and have a moment like that. It's a huge moment for us all, but for Benji getting that goal in front of the Trafford end, there's not many better places, if there's not a better place for me, to win a game of football like that. So big moment for everyone. The way the subs celebrated, the staff, the supporters, they're the special ones.
Michael, 3 games, 3 wins, 9 goals. Are you enjoying being Manchester United manager?
Yeah, of course. It's the best way to win. Not necessarily as you've gone through the game, but to get a late winner, I think it always means feels like a little bit more, and certainly within the dressing room, and Ben coming on and scoring, and everyone playing a part, supporters, that connection again, and that excitement. I think late winners always seem to add layers to the result. We'd like to win a little bit more comfortable at times, but for sure the late winners are special in remembering. For Benji, I'm just so happy for him, to get that goal in that moment. It'll just do wonders for him as well. He's been fantastic since we came in terms of working and learning and wanting to improve, and he got what he deserved today.
It's easy to make comparisons, but it was a bit of a throwback to some of those great games when you played here.
Yeah, there was a lot went on today. Listen, we feel we can play better. We can play a lot better. Fulham are a really, really good team, and we knew that coming into the game. It wasn't going to be easy, even at 2-0. They were 5-1 down against City and pulled it to 5-4. So we knew they were a really good team, and we spoke about it before the game. Everyone was talking about, how are we going to, a team that we expect to win, how are we going to break them down and all. It was never going to be that type of game, and the boys took everything on board and kept fighting until the end, and it's a nice one to finish.
When you are 2 up and then for Fulham to come back to 2-2 in stoppage time, is that the sort of game when you might have folded earlier this season?
Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, I wasn't here, so I'm not sure. But I think that since I've been here, the character of the boys and the positivity and the willingness to do work for each other is shining through. And for me, that's as important as anything else.
Quick one on Casemiro. What did you make of his performance and how bad was that injury?
I think he just put so much into it that it was a little bit of cramp, really. And hopefully it was. Big goal for us. He's done that so many times. Such an important presence within the group, as well, and the experience in games when you need a calm head and a bit of composure and being there, seeing it, done it type vibe. And he's certainly got that, and he's been really important to us, and he'll continue to do that till the end of the season.
Ben, how much did you enjoy that?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Scoring at home, the winner, it's unbelievable. I've been dreaming about that I can do that, and it's unbelievable.
What does it mean to you? What kind of boost does it give you in front of the Stretford end? This is what the Stretford end want to see.
No, it's I think not just for me, for a whole team. It's just really important, especially because we're in a really great row now, and I'm just hoping and wishing that we can work harder like that, and win games.
But it's another late winner, isn't it? It's another 3-2.
Yeah, again, it's unbelievable. I'm really happy that I can help team like that, and that we can continue our streak now.
Talking to Harry Maguire when Michael Carrick returned to the club, he was saying that Michael said to you guys, just go out and enjoy yourself, just play with that freedom, enjoy playing for Manchester United.
No, it's true. He's saying this many times, and that's exactly what we are doing. But it's not just that. Also, without the ball, you can see how much we work hard together, which leads to the great results in the end.
It has been a really actually exciting as well as winning weekend for Manchester United and for Chelsea and for Liverpool, who were very good against Newcastle last night. So that Champions League race now is an absolute belter.
Yeah, I think they all realise that. I think probably United winning at City and at Arsenal has made maybe Chelsea and Liverpool think, hang on a minute, they could be quite dangerous. We'll take each in order. I mean, we're just watching actually the Manchester United game. They're actually showing the scorpion kicks now. I forgot about that one. Was that the what's he called? He plays for Inter Milan now. I forgot his name. Mkhitaryan.
Yeah.
That was the Mkhitaryan one at Old Trafford, and this is the Giroud one they're showing. This is when I was at this game, and I thought it was one of the best goals I've ever seen live in commentary. Wow. Yeah, that was the best one, isn't it? The Giroud one. But United earlier on, I was sat there in the media lounge, 2-0 up, and I was smirking and smiling. You were in there as well. I was watching it with David Ornstein, and all of a sudden, Fulham just kept going, didn't they? They wouldn't give in, and then when they scored that second goal, I was like, oh my goodness gracious. And then if you just said you wanted one player to score a goal, if anybody, any United fan, any United coach would have said, I want one player to score a goal, it would be Sesko, because he's had a real difficult time since he's come to the club. And Cunha and then Bruno just look like Manchester United players straight away, the way in which they take the ball, they attack defenders. Ahmad's come back from AFCON looking really strong, and Bruno's in great form. So you've got that front four that looks like it's established with Dorgu, who I've not even mentioned. So he looked like he was just playing a bit part role, but that will be so big for Sesko to score a winning goal at the Stretford end. To come back like they did, it very much Manchester United-like. Michael Carrick will have had sort of not making it easy for himself. He'll be there tonight thinking, you know what I mean? Because this was, again, another test, another type of test where a team are sort of lower down the table than obviously Arsenal and City, who are the two best teams in the league. So a different type of test, different type of question. He'll have some work to go through with his players, but yeah, a very important day for Manchester United, a very important day for Michael Carrick, and a glorious sort of end to the game, which is typical of Manchester United historically, where they sort of, make it very hard for themselves, but then go and score the late winner. And it was a good work down there. He let the ball roll across his body, Bruno Fernandes, just again putting it simply into a box. Sesko just gets it, rolls it, and he's got a really good strike on him. That's one thing he does have. And a big 3 points. I think that would have been a devastating sort of dropping of 2 points in terms of what you're talking about with Chelsea and Liverpool. It's going to need to be pretty consistent now. I think the others are going to really ramp it up, and United look like they're in a good place.
Sensational ending at Old Trafford. How often have we seen that down the years? Manchester United scoring in, well, Carrick time now, we should call it. But what was different today, Jamie? It was a different kind of feel to the game, certainly.
Yeah, but it was just interesting when we spoke to Michael Carrick before the game about who was coming in for who. So Cunha was coming into the team, and we just expected him to sort of fill in on that left side and tuck in the left pocket. But as soon as the game started, you could see it was almost like a front three, but a very narrow front three. And in some ways, a throwback, would you believe, to Ruben Amorim when they had possession. Certainly when we look at the build-up to the penalty, I just wanted to look at the setup now when we look down, and you've got that back three here now building up. That's nothing new. We see lots of teams do that. You had your two midfield players here, and like lots of teams, can you get a front five against a back four? But it was interesting that it was one of them was your winger on that side in Ahmad, and Luke Shaw was the left back pushing on, if you like. But what really stood out was the front three, and they all interchanged. It's actually Mbeumo in this position here, Bruno Fernandes central, and Cunha on the right. But they continually just interchanged constantly. But they were all very close together, very tight together at all times. So there was a lot of that within the game. And that was something maybe a little bit different in this game because it was a home game and maybe because it was against Fulham. And as I said, Cunha makes a really good run down the side, gets away from his man, and we've obviously seen the pull of the shit. Ends up being a penalty given, it's overturned, but then there's a free kick given for the initial pull outside of the box.
Yeah, just to clarify on that, because Marco Silva was really unhappy because he thought that the penalty had been given for the tackle, where John Brooks and VAR were saying that it was given for the pull, and the question was then, was it inside the area or outside the area? And because it's a factual decision, it was able to come back for a free kick just outside the area, which Manchester United made the most of.
Yes, and from that free kick, Casemiro scored another headed goal. I mean, the thing that really stands out for me with Casemiro in all his time at Manchester United, if you said to me what was his biggest strength, what was the biggest thing he brought to Manchester United, I would say a threat from set pieces. He's got a great goal record this season. I think he's scored a goal every season from a set piece. He's got a lot this season, but he's always, yes, he's always feels like he could score, or he could set something up, or he's dangerous, or the keeper makes a good save. He's, as I said, he's a huge threat.
Do you know, and a lot of people thought that Casemiro's time might well have been over in the Premier League and with Manchester United.
So he's been an absolute great. I am nowhere near on a level of what that man has achieved. Champions Leagues, playing for Brazil, playing for Real Madrid. But I always remember something when I retired myself. And there was a saying I always remember as a footballer. Leave the football before the football leaves you. The football's left him. At this top level, he needs to call it a day at this level of football and move.
It was a beautiful moment of punditry, which I'm reminded of by Manchester United fans every time that Casemiro scores a goal or does something really good.
Well, so am I. As soon as he scored and he set a goal up, I thought my notifications will be off the scale.
But it's interesting because that was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I think what Casemiro has done at Manchester United, and he's getting a great reception as he's leaving at the end of the season. He's done the perfect type of thing you want from a signing, in that his first season was fantastic, so everyone thinks, you know, he's a great player. And of course, he is a great player. And his last season, he's going out on a high. He's been fantastic this season, so he'll be remembered really well as well. I think the middle part of his time at Manchester United was a little bit of a struggle for him. But there's no doubt he's bounced back, and it is now fair to say the football has not left him, considering what he's producing this season in the Premier League. And not just Fulham at home. You think what he did last week against Arsenal away, Manchester City at home. So Casemiro is well within his rights to, if he wants to come back at me and say, you know, leave the punditry before the punditry's left you, he could definitely get one of those back in. But listen, credit to him. He looks a completely different player.
I think you've got a bit left in you, mate. I think you've got a bit left in you.
I might have a little bit left in me. But he looks a different player physically as well. Even when I said that, you looked at him and he looked like an old man coming to the end of his time as a player. And whether he let himself go a little bit or now he's been ultra-professional, physically he looks completely different.
Just when you were being nice about it.
No, he does. He looks a different player.
This is something else that he can bring to the game as well. The no-look pass.
Yeah, but again, just before, I want to just look at something as the ball comes into him, and it goes back to the first goal. I'll just stop it now again. And what you see again is, what have we got? There's your left back pushing on to make the front five. There's Amad, your winger, OK? And then you've got, there's your front three. Again, in different positions, OK? So this time's Cunha's central, Bruno Fernandes is to the right. Again, so that was basically what Michael Carrick was trying to do right throughout this game. But the no-look pass is fantastic. But listen, it's a simple pass for the player, Danny, but it's the weight of the pass. If the weight of the pass is he underhits that slightly, the defender makes a tackle. If he overhits it, the angle is too tight to score a goal. So the thing about that was, it's the weight of the pass. That is the special thing there. That rolls any further, it's too much of an angle to score a goal from there. And it's a brilliant strike from Cunha, who's starting to look the real deal.
Unbelievable finish, isn't it, from Cunha, who's quite wide of the goal as well. But that was not the end of the game, because Fulham got themselves right back into it. And you felt this was coming from Fulham in the second half, building attacks. And then they won this penalty, Jamie. I don't think there was too much doubt here. Harry Maguire wasn't sure. Everyone else seemed to be.
I think he was sure, but he was trying to get away with it. But listen, I think I spoke about this last week on Monday Night Football. These are the type of penalties that are getting given now that maybe weren't done in the past if somebody got the shot off. But this guy is the absolute best penalty-wise.
He seems to make his decision so late, Jamie.
I think he realises the goalkeeper's going to go the right way at the last minute, and he thinks, I've got to lift this and go for the top corner, because he knows the goalkeeper's read him and is going the right way.
Which is an incredible talent, and is probably why he is now out on his own as the highest scoring 100% penalty record in Premier League history. He's surpassed Yaya Toure. He's now scored all 12 that he has taken, and that's why I think a lot of people are expecting him to get Fulham back in the game there. But Fulham weren't done there. Pressure was building towards the end of the game, Jamie.
It was. Listen, it wasn't a great performance from Manchester United. It was a great result and the manner of it. But Fulham were really good in this game and definitely deserved to get something from the game. I think a draw would have been a fair result. But that was a fantastic goal. And it wasn't just the second half here. We've seen them score 2 goals in the second half. They had one, obviously, disallowed for a really tight offside. But even in the first half, they played some really good football.
We were watching this game together in here, and as soon as they equalised, you said, because they've been defending quite a lot of that point, Manchester United, you said, watch this, Manchester United will go and attack now.
Yeah, I think it's just the nature of the game. When you're one up or you need a goal, Fulham were completely dominating the game. You just knew what would happen now. Fulham would end up on the edge of the box and Manchester United would start playing again. It's just, listen, why it happens I don't know, but it happens in every game of football like that.
Where'd the goal come from then?
Well, it comes from Bruno Fernandes. I mean, the goal scored by Sesko, and it's a great moment for him, but who's at the heart of it again? Dummy's brilliant from Fernandes. He can't really cope with Bassi physically, but he too clever for him. And then you just look in the middle here with Sesko. Finds himself with space, and the great thing is, maybe better people than me and strikers will say, the goals don't move. He never really looks at all at the situation, but just keep an eye on Bruno Fernandes. The ball comes into him, he knows the defender's coming, he can scan just slightly over his right shoulder, and he knows he's got to get this crossing quickly, because Bassi physically will get back at him. He has to cross it now. He can't take it on, he'll come back. And as this ball comes in, obviously the defenders are a little bit footed.
Good first touch.
Yeah. He puts it there, but look at this, he doesn't look at all. And it's a brilliant finish. And listen, it's been really difficult for him. And it's been difficult for Højlund before him, a young striker coming in as well.
If you think this is relevant, Jamie, he scored 2 in 17 under Ruben Amorim this season, and now 4 in 4 since Amorim left. What can we read into that?
Well, I wouldn't use that as a stick to beat Ruben Amorim with, to be honest. He's a young player. He's improving as it goes on. Listen, he was fantastic at Burnley. And I asked Michael Carrick a question before the game. Why did you go with Brian Mbeumo in the first sort of 3 games as the centre forward? Notoriously, you'd think of him as a right winger. And you'd maybe play Sesko through the middle, or couldn't you? You went with Mbeumo. But he's probably a little bit disappointed with that. He's just starting to kick on, obviously the Burnley game, and now he's found himself on the bench again. But it's now looking like he's involved. That will do him the world of good. Listen, I'm a Liverpool man. Did I want Manchester United to score the winning goal? Of course not. But when you see young players come into the Premier League and you watch them struggle, they're away from home, probably haven't got the sort of the network or the family around them, it'll have been torture for him in these first few months at Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. So forget that moment for him will be the biggest moment of the season. And hopefully for him, it's still not over.
Yeah, 100% his biggest.
Yeah, talking of hard work, Michael Carrick was saying before this game how Benjamin Sesko, who just got before today 4 goals in the Premier League, have been doing extra sessions, extra finishing work. So how pleased as a goal scorer, knowing that and the difficult start he's had coming to this country in this league, for him to do what he did today.
Yeah, lovely moment for him, lovely moment obviously for Manchester United and the fans and everybody else, but this is a real quality finish. Great first touch, takes it away from danger. You know, he actually comes back a little bit, takes it away and then swivels, spins and finishes it right into the corner. He actually uses the defender to curl it round. And unless you're not a Manchester United, I think every neutral would have loved to see that. I mean, it's not easy for somebody to come from abroad, all that money, all that pressure. It's one of the most pressurised positions in the game of football. And to see someone struggle, it's not nice. I mean, Højlund before him, I didn't enjoy seeing him struggle. I felt it hard to criticise any of his performance because it's really, really difficult. The advantage he's got now, he's got the likes of Cunha, the likes of Fernandes, the likes of Mbeumo around him. This is a team that are actually building and creating chances and everything else like that. So, no, I don't think he's the answer. No, I don't think he's the long-term solution. But he still can have a big part. And if it means coming off the bench and scoring a goal like today, then fantastic. So, yeah, I was delighted for him today because, as I say, it's nice to see youngsters like that coming into a new country and doing well.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you see young players go overseas, and it's harder than we anticipate. Me just moving home from Birmingham up north to Liverpool was tough. So to move different countries, I don't know how difficult that's been for him at a young age. But yeah, again, someone that's resilient and willing to put the work in, as Michael said about on the training ground, you want them to do well because when they're putting that much effort into their profession, it's only going to become a matter of time where they reap the benefits of that, and today was one of them occasions.
And he seems to be one of many enjoying the environment since the old manager departed, because he only scored twice under Ruben Amorim per se. He scored 3 times in the games since Ruben Amorim has disappeared. And obviously the way the team are playing and creating more chances will play a part, but just the feel-good confidence culture around the club, if you like.
It's incredible, isn't it? You know what? We'll look at it in 3, 4, 5 more games' time and say every player's playing better. And you often get that. It's quite rare that one or two players will play better for the new manager and everybody else poorly. I mean, you either get a huge lift or, it's a team game. Everyone comes up together or goes down together. And once you're playing well, once there's more chances, once there's more possession, once, the crowd are behind you and your manager loves you and everything's going well, then everybody plays a little bit better. So this might be the perfect thing for him as well. We've seen it with a few players that have started so far under Michael Carrick, but it's been quite a settled team. There's only been one, maybe two changes. Dorgu obviously getting injured, with Cunha coming back in. But I guess that the whole squad will be improving behind the scenes, and if there's changes to be made in the future, you'll probably see the likes of Mason Mount and people like that starting to have a bigger influence. So, yeah, the whole club is on a high at the moment.
Yeah, he's had 6 games now in the 2 spells, 5 wins and a draw, so he's yet to taste defeat in that technical area. But in terms of these 3, the first 2, everybody said were difficult games, suited United on the counter-attack. He's right, they did have questions to ask there. Today was different, wasn't it, against that Fulham team?
It was always going to be. And like you said, they answered them for the majority of the game. Yes, Fulham deserved to get back into it, but they got the job done and got it over the line. And the feel of the club and the connection between the fans seems to be there again. I think the fans wanted the team to do well when Amorim was in charge, but I think they want Michael Carrick to do well. And that's the difference. I think everyone now is, when you see the celebrations of the goal, yes, it's because it's a last-minute winner, but I think they want each other to do well. I don't think that togetherness seemed like it was everyone was part of that. I think now, when Michael Carrick references the subs, the staff, everyone was happy for Sesko, and I think that's the difference now.
And even at 2-0, they were trying to score a third. In fact, Sesko probably should have scored a third and put it to bed. He hit the post not long after coming off. And that was the big complaint from Ruben Amorim's time with the fans. They go 1-0 up, bring on 2 defenders and protect the 1-0 lead, and that wasn't the Manchester United way.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of scarring, maybe, from previous experiences, scoring a goal and all of a sudden you might panic, you've got something, hold on to it. Nature says, or your mind naturally says, when you've got something, you hold on to it. Retreating and keeping hold of it and going back home is safe. And it's quite the contrary. Obviously, Manchester United over the years have gone to get the second goal and the third goal. And I was watching the game, even at 1-0 they scored and they were still going forward, and they scored the second, still going forward. And I think that's a positive, because, scoring a goal and immediately retreating is a bad habit to get into. I've been in teams that have done that as well. So I think that's a good habit. And of course, the manager can always change things with 20 minutes to go to shore things up. And that sends a message, OK, now we're going to be, in defensive mode, maybe on counter-attack mode. But no, throughout the game, even though they conceded 1 or 2 goals, they were on the front foot looking to score, and that was, that's Manchester United. And to progress, you've got to score goals. You've got to really create chances, score multiple goals. Don't rely on defending and nicking games 1-0. This is the way forward, and it's looking good so far.
Spurs next at Old Trafford next Saturday. How different a place now is Old Trafford to visit as an opposing player than it was 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Very different. Again, the fans are going there with a belief, not a hope they're going to win. They believe they're going to win. Yes, they would have expected to beat Fulham under any manager, but now they're going there with a genuine belief they're going to win and going to be entertained and excited. And that's a tough place to go when it is like that. Obviously, Spurs, Man United is always an exciting game, but obviously the connection now that they all have together, I think it's a lot more daunting for the opposition teams.
And when you're somebody like Michael and his staff who've gone in and tweaked this and tweaked that, and then you beat City and beat Arsenal and come back to beat Fulham, from a player's point of view, how crucial is that when you're giving them new ideas and new information?
You believe everything then, don't you? And listen, Manchester United players, that has been one depressing dressing room for years and years and years. They know that lots is expected of them. They've not delivered for a long, long time. It must have been awful, for as long as I can remember. And, as I say, in the last decade, it must have been a really horrible dressing room to be in. Now, all of a sudden, they'll be floating into training. Absolutely floating. Whatever the manager says, it's gospel. They're enjoying it. There'll be a smile on their face. It'll all come easy. It's just a little bit of confidence, a little bit of tweaking here or there. It's just an incredible thing. And, I think the performances is what I've been interested in most and what I'd be positive most. Yes, results. But performances in the long run are going to get you the results.
OK, let's remind you how the Premier League table looks then, with one more game to go this weekend. That, of course, is Burnley's trip to Sunderland, who, of course, are unbeaten at home this season. So West Ham end the weekend 6 points adrift of Nottingham Forest and Leeds on 26 points. They meet each other, incidentally, next Friday night. Palace and Spurs up to 29th in 14 and 15th, respectively. And this screenshot looks very nice, doesn't it, for Arsenal fans? 24 played, 6 clear of City, 7 clear of Aston Villa. Arsenal the big winners this weekend. United, Chelsea and Liverpool and Brentford all won, but Manchester United, on the back of that third consecutive win under Michael Carrick, finish the weekend in the top 4 in those Champions League places. Well, thanks to Michael and to Jolien. Another big weekend, particularly at the top of the Premier League, where quite clearly Arsenal are the huge winners. From the three of us, we'll see you soon.